Okay, maybe this is live, maybe it's not. I don't know yet. But we have a board from a MRI system we have to take a look at today. We have a good board and we have a bad board. So we are going to compare the diode mode readings and see what we get. So, okay, it looks like we are live. So we have actually three boards. We have a good version of the bad board. So what we're going to do is take diode mode measurements on this board, and then we are going to try and see if there's anything off on this board, which is the bad board. So my guess is it's actually the transceiver that's bad. The transceiver is right here. Now this is a fiber optic board. This is going to communicate data to this is actually a PCI card that is going to go into the HP workstation computer that runs the system. So this is going to take fiber optic data transmitted by the system cabinet that has all kinds of information on scan type, patient info, and all that, and it's going to send it to the computer so the tech knows what to see on the screen and stuff like that. So this does not work. Completely dead. Nothing. So let's go ahead and start taking some measurements. I want to see if there's anything broadly different. There's going to be differences. There's always going to be differences in boards due to differences in electron migration and all that. So there's going to be some differences in diode mode readings, but for the most part, we should be fairly uniform and it shouldn't be anything crazy off. So if all is well and I don't find anything out of the ordinary, I'm going to go ahead and replace the transceiver. The transceiver is right here. It's the fiber optic thing. I'm going to pull that off of this board, which is an older board, but it also has the same transceiver on that. Now I noticed something. This is made in 2002 and this is made in 2006. Notice how that medical equipment is often used much longer than normal equipment. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So we're going to switch over to our microscope view and we're going to have a look. So here's our good board. The first thing I want to go through is just measure on major stuff like that cap, maybe around this chip a little bit, and just see if anything is broadly different on the other board. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to place them right here. So you guys are going to see the video of the bad board, and I will see the good board. So this is the bad board. We are going to turn our meter on to diode mode. I have no way of showing this on the screen, so you guys are going to have to believe me on what I say. So we're going to put one lead on ground, which is on the shield right here, measure right here, and that is open line. Maybe resistance to ground would be better. Let's see. So open line. Shoot, you can't see it. Sorry about that. Okay, so the shield isn't actually connected to ground, so I'm going to use the other side of these caps for ground right here. And in diode mode on the bad board, that is 0.048 volts to ground. We're going to check the same thing over here. And that is 0 on the good board, and that is 0.014 to ground. We're going to check again across this cap, 0.048. So that's a little bit higher. That doesn't really concern me, though. Moving on, we are going to go down to this cap right here. And that is 0.50 to ground. This one over here, the good board, is 0.14 again, so nothing out of the ordinary. We're going to check this little regulator right here. I think it's a regulator. We're going to check on this cap. 0.048 to ground. We're also going to put one lead on ground, and we're going to check each pin of this. So open line, or 0.078, out of focus again. So open line, 0.778, 0.126, 0.778, 0.48, open line, 0.001, so that's direct to ground. That's about right. We're going to move over to the other board. And so this is the good board. We're going to put one on ground as well. And we have open line, 0.778, 0.126. What was that on the bad one? 0.126, that's the same. 778. 778. Right over here should be 14. Yep. Open line. Open line. And ground. Okay, that circuit's fine. It's exactly the same. Alright, now what I want to do is take some measurements on the transceiver where I think the issue is going to be. So let's do this, see if there's anything out of the ordinary. So this is the good board right here that I'm going to take the measurements off of. Let's focus this. So the good board, we need ground, shoot. Is this ground? This board's a little bit different, so. Okay, so this is very erratic. It's this one is pretty much short to ground. What is it on this one? So that's short to ground. Also short to ground. This pin, 0.127. This pin is 2 point something, 0.189. That's close enough. 127. 128. That's fine. Kind of all over the place, but it went to. Alright, so it's like 2 point something, but it's erratic. Let's check on this one. Pin 4. 127, and that was the fourth pin. This may be it right here. So fourth pin down. Alright, so it's around the same. It's a little bit different on the bad board. So that is something we need to note. So that reading is different on the bad board on the transceiver. That's one thing to note. So that's that one. Let's go down one more. .20 on the good board, and on the bad board that is 0.48. That's close enough. Next one down is 0.48 as well. So did this one, this is it's erratic. So there are some different readings on the transceiver. That is interesting. I don't know what that means yet. Okay, so short on this one. Not a short on the other one. Alright, so what I've concluded on this, I'm not even going to check the rest of them. There are some differences between the transceiver on the good board and the bad board. So that could very well be our issue. What I want to check now is it doesn't make sense to measure every single pin. So I'm going to do stuff like this Epson thing. I don't know what this is, but I know I need to check it. So we're going to measure right here. Isn't it necessary to recalibrate these devices? No, it is not. This is a bit 3 PCI card. There is no calibration needed on this thing. Alright, so 0.01, so that's short. 0.014, 0.512, 0.14. Now on the bad board, that is going to be 0.431, 0.49 short, and 0.48. Okay, so 440. All right, so that seems proper. I don't see anything wrong there. This cap, so this is just a reminder, this is the good board here. This cap, is 1.514 on the good board, and on the bad board 1.535. That's fine. This one is 0.014, 0.048. That's fine. This other cap over here, 0.014. Sonia's here. How you doing? 0.048. That's good. So with something like this, these type of circuits just don't tend to fail very much. They just don't tend to fail. Let's check this cluster of caps. So 0.014, 0.014, 0.014, 0.014, and this one is open. Alright, so we're going to check the same thing on the bad board again. But so far I'm thinking the issue is in the transceiver. That's what I initially suspected. 0.48, which is the other normal on this board. So the other board seems to be 0.014, that's normal, and this one's a little bit higher. That's nothing to be concerned about. Like I said in the beginning, there would be variances in the board. .48, they're all fine. Okay, so I'm pretty confident. Well, not. I suspect that the issue is going to be in this transceiver right here. This is the only thing I could really see. Actually, you know what? Let's go. We didn't go over this circuit right here. Allegiant HD MP. Let's look this up. Let's look this up. Okay, Allegiant HD MP 1536A. Fiber channel transceiver chip. Now, like I said, this is where I think the issue is going to be, either in this thing or in this chip. So, let's see, does this board have a similar chip on it? This other one that we can use? And it does not look like it. Or does it? Actually, yes it does. So, this board over here has another chip, just an older version of it. HDMP 1536A, but it's made by HP. The pins line up, so what I'm going to do, the chances of a capacitor or something failing in the circuit is fairly low. I want to change the transceiver, and I want to change this chip right here that controls it. I want to see what happens. So it's just going to be a try it and see thing. This looks like it's going to be compatible. I'm willing to bet it's compatible. A lot of times these chips, they're the same, they're compatible, they're just a different manufacturer. The date code is going to be different, of course. But we're going to swap these both and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this shield. How we're going to remove this transceiver: do not heat these PCBs too hot because they will bubble. They will bubble. It's not like a MacBook board. There is very little thermal mass. It's based on fiberglass. It will bubble up and you will ruin it. So we're going to put low melt solder over the whole thing, and we're going to just drop this thing out. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. HP became Allegiant at some point for this kind of stuff, so yeah, exactly. There's no PCH on these cards. The closest thing is going to be this Ultra Flex CPU right here. This is the board's brain right here. Alright, so let me take the shield off real quick. It's just 2 screws, that's it. Put those aside. You know what I'm thinking? If this was in a mobile, so a lot of these MRI systems are actually in mobile trailers. I want to call the customer well, I'm actually waiting for his call back, but I want to find out if this was a mobile trailer. If it was, I would be maybe concerned of broken solder joints under the Altera chip. That would be a concern. But let's look at it under the scope and see if we see anything obvious under there. Because it is possible that there is something, a broken solder joint under that chip with BGA. It can happen. It's not really 100% too common, especially if it's not a device that's being dropped. But over time, bouncing down the road repeated times, maybe you can get a cracked joint. Those look pretty good, though. Those look good. Okay. So, we're going to get a big tip on the iron. Make sure we're working on the right board. So I want the biggest tip I have, which is going to be the T15 BC3, or T12 BC3. I got a bunch of the T12 chips a while ago, and they all work fine, so I just use the T12 chips. There's no difference between the T15, in my opinion. We're going to kick on the fume extractor, because this is going to put out some stuff you don't want to breathe. Just finished banging my head on the table after a very strange white light of death PS4. That's usually the HDMI encoder, isn't it? I used to work on those a bunch, but I stopped. But I've repaired a couple hundred of those probably. But they sucked. As far as I did a lot of HDMI ports when I first opened the store. So flux. And this is going to drop right out really easy. Well, now that I said that, it's probably not going to drop out very easy, but we'll see. So we're just going to put that there. Our iron on. Get a little bit more. Might have to use a little bit of hot air. Like I said, we don't really want to overdo it. I just want to make sure it's on all the pins. So we're going to use the hot air at a fairly low temperature. Like I said, I don't want to expose this board to too much heat. So we're going to do we're going to do like 250. 250 is not really hot enough to hurt anything. Also, the case of the transceiver is going to be plastic. So we really don't want to melt the plastic. That would suck. So we're just going to go at 240 degrees at a distance away. Do not bring this too close to the transceiver, because it's going to melt. So if I hold it there, it'll melt. See, really loving MG Chemicals Flux. Try Amtech NC560. I guarantee you'll probably like it better. Power good is 1.8 volts, yes, on 1932s. Pretty much all the new ones, honestly. Okay, my mistake saying this was going to drop out easy, because it does not appear that it's going to drop out very easy at all. I may end up getting a new one of these. Yeah, this is not going to come out easy. Let's see, is there anything on the top that's going to hold this in? Nope. How am I going to get this thing out? Let's try heating it, and I'm going to manually try and pull it out. Here it comes. It's off camera. I should probably, you know what, alright. I feel like I'm going to get metal in my, solder in my eyes, so, Interesting. So, hopefully I don't get solder in my eyes doing this, but wish me luck. So we are going to heat this. Let me try and bend this up a little bit. There's the pins I bent. Try and bend this up. We're working at a safe temperature, though. We're not going to harm the board working at these temperatures. So now I'm going to heat it, and I'm going to try and pull it, and I'm going to try... You know what? Let's try this. Let's wick this away. I never thought about this. Let's wick the solder away. So this can be helpful on some boards that are particularly hard and stubborn to get stuff out of. So we're going to wick the solder away. Note to self, buy more wick, because I'm almost out. Nice, it came right out. So that should have no... 1 second. Right, that was FedEx. Give me 1 second, guys. It is worth wicking it. I'll show you guys. Let me run outside. We added chip quick, Ned. Laptops don't stop coming. It's amazing. Okay. Tech was just saying. Oh yeah, so COVID-19 in a way has been very good for my business, as much as I hate to say that. But it has been never busier here. In the history of my business, it has never been as busy as it has now. Wait, what did I just say? I said it has never been as busy as it has been now. Hence why I'm mumbling stuff and saying stuff wrong, because I've been here until after 1 a.m. for a while. So this should pull out very nicely after all the solder is wicked away, I'd imagine. We'll see. Maybe not so much on this side. No, it will. Let me just try and get the bulk of it, and then I'll cut the wick. And whenever you have solder on the wick, it kind of makes it a little bit harder to get fresh stuff. So, I mean, get the solder out of it, so you need a fresh piece of wick to get it all out. My concern is damaging this or the new one, but at least we have a little technique to get it out now. I don't want to damage the new one putting it in because I don't know if I could even get this because this thing is old. Like this thing is old as me. Like this board is almost as old as me. Like this board is these things are only a couple years. This other board right here that we're going to take the transceiver and parts off of was made in 2002. I was made in 2001, so. Add a little bit more flux. The solder's working so well because I added low melt too, so that has something to do with it. This thing almost wants to come out. We don't want to break it though. That would not be good. Because I don't know how expensive this thing is and... It's okay if we bend the pins a little bit, but we don't really want to... Any kind of crack on the pins or fracture would not be good at all. So I'm trying to avoid that. It's the only one left with solder, I think. Yep, there we go. Now, it's very loose. What I'm going to do is just take a little bit of heat now from a hot air station. So, let's see. Over here. So there's just a little tiny bit of solder left. Just a little bit. So I'm going to get my quick. I'm going to heat it. I'm going to risk burning myself. And it's out. And we did not damage it. Perfect. So here is the transceiver. It is out of the board. Okay. So we're going to pull it from this one. Now, this is the same exact transceiver, but this board was made in 2002. This board was made in 2004. So it's a, you know. But now we know how to take these out successfully. This one's going to be trickier. Now, luckily about this board, we don't care about this one. It's trash. We don't need it. It's fine. We can do whatever we want. Whatever we want with it, and so be it. So we're going to do same process. We're going to put the low melt in. We're going to take it out, but it's going to be a lot more complicated because we have stuff right by it. So here's the board. You see stuff all around it, and on this one, you see nothing. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, video capture 2 on. Now this has some corrosion and stuff. Which is old. I'm gonna sneeze and then everyone's gonna think I have coronavirus. There, no evidence of sneeze, no evidence of coronavirus. screw seams a little bit. Hate when the heads of screws are just so soft and they strip as soon as you start taking them off. It sucks. I cannot afford to get coronavirus right now. There's too many MacBooks. I'm willing to bet if I told a customer I have coronavirus, they'd still want me to come in and fix their machine. Rico's here. How's it going, Rico? How's it in your part of the world right now? Staying busy, I hope, too. SC Lime, do you know how to fix boards? Because you're close to California, or you're close, not too far from me. Because I'm kind of looking for another board tech here very soon. It would be a very, very part-time kind of thing to help out when overwhelmed and stuff. So if anybody else is in the local area and is interested in that, let me know. Local though, because this thing wouldn't be, like I said, it's a very part-time thing. Well, that ain't good. I just busted a pin, I think. SC Lamb, Caleb, I think is your name. Send me a message on Instagram or something. We'll talk more. Justin donated $5. How is Stella? Stella is doing much better. She is almost back to herself. She's eating. She's drinking a lot of water. Hi Tom, how's it going? Rico, California's fine. I mean, it's, you walk outside, it's normal. People have masks. But it's otherwise normal. I mean, you couldn't really tell a difference from a normal day here. Alright, Ned, have a nice day. And yes, everything here is disinfected. Every single thing, get in, disinfected. Every single thing is disinfected before it goes out. Today is big reveal day for plans on a road to reopening the country. That is good. Well, I hope the virus doesn't get worse, but at the same time, my opinion is we can't be closed down. I mean, the virus is bad. The virus, I mean, I don't, if people would follow the darn directions, I think would be okay. Like wearing masks, washing your hands, not touching your face. But the problem is you walk in a store and you see people with the mask only covering their nose and they're constantly rubbing their nose out in public. That's who's going to be who's spreading the virus. With that being said, I don't know, it's such a tough situation. I'm going to try and just remove this without wicking it. Let's see what happens. Is this free? No. If everyone wore masks, if everyone followed the directions, if all business owners disinfected stuff, we would be okay. But the problem is that's not going to happen. But you can't have everything closed for so long. You can't do it. It just doesn't, it's not viable. You can't just sit around and stay in home forever and ever and ever. I mean, you're going to completely ruin the economy. So what are you going to do? You know, we'll see. But like I said, I'm not concerned about me getting it. I'm concerned about certain family members that are at risk getting it. But like right now, okay, so let's say if a customer has COVID-19 and they drop off their machine outside. Well, they drop off their machine. I go inside, right? They're outside. They drop it off at the shelf. They go back in their car. I wait about 30 seconds to a minute. And after that, the breeze is going to dissipate the virus anyway. If they're not coughing and sneezing, they're emitting the breathasols, which are going to travel about 6 feet. Coughing and sneezing is going to travel further. I go out there in a mask, and there's likely almost no virus particles left because of the breeze, and they would have settled by that 30 seconds to a minute mark. There'd still be some out there. So I go out there, I wear my N95 mask. The chances of exposure to that is relatively low. I get the device in, I wipe it down, disinfect it with several different things, I wash my hands, and I work on it. The chances of infection to that are low. I mean, it's really low. If everyone was doing stuff like that, we'd be okay. But the problem is you can't stop people from acting like they want to be. So we're going to pull this thing off, hopefully. Nope, we need a wicket. So, I mean, like what the mayor of Los Angeles said, he wants everything closed like 2 years. Well, guess what? You can't do that. You can't have everything closed for 2 years. You're going to cause massive economic collapse. And when the government runs out of money to feed people, people aren't going to have money because they can't work. And then you start getting civil unrest, and you start getting rioters and looters and people robbing people for food and money. And then guess what? You just created a civil war, you know, which is going to be a lot worse. Someone said that Trump should say he wants a 2-year lockdown, so the Dems would then disagree and push things to get reopened. Hey, that would work. That would probably work, but I tend not to talk about political stuff on the channel, but I just like to share things in my viewpoint and both ways. Unbiased and, you know, and just what I think. But think about it. Think of all the business owners, all the everything. Okay, what makes the country, who's out there fixing medical equipment? Who's out there fixing this? Okay, it's going to be third-party business owners. Who's fixing your laptop when they say you need to work at home? Guess what? You can't keep everything closed like that. You just can't. I'm all for it for a temporary thing, like a temporary pause, a temporary lockdown kind of thing like we are now. But see, nothing is enforced. So when you see on the media, oh, California's in a lockdown. Bull. Nobody is in a lockdown. Nothing. There's no lockdown. People are still out and about. It is not enforced. If we're going to do like a temporary, like 1 month or 3-week quarantine, whatever that was enforced, that would be okay. That would be okay, you know, and that would curb it most likely. But the whole 2-3 year thing, it's just not going to work. That's just my opinion. Hi Cam, I am doing good. The streets here are as full as they were before the lockdown. Yeah, absolutely. Same exact thing here. What's the difference between Amtech NC559 and NC560? 560 seems to have a lot more rosin based on the color, and it just works a ton better, in my opinion. The NRA is happy about COVID. There was a run on gun shops if the media is telling the truth. Absolutely. In my city, there was a gun shop that the line was down the street, outside and down the street. I mean, that's my concern is when if stuff stays closed, people starts running out of money, the government starts running out of money to give to people to support them, and then guess what? People are going to start getting violent because they need to eat, they need to have food, they need to have money. Then you have a bigger problem on your hands than you would if you would have, it's just not going to be good if that happens. There's a little bit of solder left here. I think that's why I couldn't get this out prior. There's none left. Alright, I'm going to try again with the hot air. Gotta head out. Nice dream. I'll hit you up on IG. I gotta fix my convict. Alright, have a nice day. Alright, now let's try. Alright, now I think we'll get it. I think we're going to get it now. Off. Alright, so now here's our good one. We're going to put this aside. Inspect it. Everything looks good. We're going to go ahead and transfer this chip. Now you might ask, well, why, I picked enough firearms and ammo long ago. I just kept adding to it. Yeah, I know that feeling. But what if, now tell me what would make more sense. I put the new transceiver on, take off the old chip, and then I melt this. We don't want to melt this, so I am going to put the new chip on the board. So we're going to take this chip off, put it on here, and then we're going to put the transceiver off, because then we don't have to worry about melting anything, because melting the board would, the new transceiver would suck. We don't want to do that, especially if I can't even get this anymore. So we're going to put this aside. We don't need this board anymore. I just got flux in my hand. Oh well. The dot is in this corner, so we're going to transfer this. There's this board. Some flux. I don't really want to ultrasonic this, because I don't know how it's going to react to ultrasonic. Now, like I said, we don't need to go too hot on this. We're going to go at 300, 350 is fine. We're not going to use too much airflow. A little bit more flux. Sonia's in a place where you can legally own guns. Not like this state. Could already smell this PCB getting really hot. It's almost there though. It's off. So we're going to keep this. We don't want to throw that away, of course. Let's clean everything up. When we solder the new one, we're going to use our iron. We're not going to use hot air to put it on. I'd probably low melt to that too. No, I don't want to add low melt to this, because when we wick it, we could damage the pins on it. And I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with a chip like this with damaged pins. It sucks to bend them back in place. The pads are also very easy to rip on this, so notice I'm actually taking care and wicking them the right way instead of doing the pads like I do on MacBooks, where you don't really have to worry because they're so hard to rip. Well, this board is 2-layer, and this will be very easy to rip. So we're just going to be really gentle on it. We're We're going to go with the length of the pad, not horizontal across the pad. Just like that. We're going to clean this up a little bit. I'm almost out of Q-tips. I'm almost down to my last couple, but I have more on the way, luckily. Trying not to go in any stores. It's just so odd that going into stores is now like a thing, the complete thing of the past. J.O., we're having a civilized conversation here. We're not talking about anything. So you can chill out. Nobody's saying anything bad here. Nobody's discussing anything bad. We're just having a calm conversation. That's it. Nobody's being crazy. Nobody's talking about anything crazy. We're just being normal. We're just having a conversation. Nobody's talking about anything. We're simply talking about what happens if country is shut down for so long, and what happens if civil unrest starts. That's all. Which is unfortunately a possibility. It's almost like that someone's in the military talks about it all the time. No, I'm not in the military, so I'm not sure what you're going on about. Ow, hot. We're going to switch over to our small BC1 tip. Just going to put a little bit of solder on the end. These chips can be a pain to solder by hand. I used to practice on a lot of these when I was starting. Gonna make sure it's aligned semi-good. I like to solder one pin on each side. So if we do one pin on each side, we can usually hold the chip pretty still. I still have this feeling that there's something wrong in that Altura chip. And the phone is ringing. Give me 1 second. Okay, we are back. Alright, Crazy G. Have a nice night. Okay, now this side's off a little bit, so what I'm going to do, just see if I can just put a little pressure on it. I can. Done there. These are hard to align. I guess it's okay if it's not perfect, but they are hard to align. We don't want bridges either. What wattage is this iron? I have no idea. It's a Hacko FX 951. Oh boy, the CPU guy is here. And now this is expensive medical equipment. Please do not like kill somebody remotely through this, Anel. So please don't. Don't kill the CPU on this board by joining the chat. No. This board in no way would be responsible for causing any injury to anybody whatsoever. This is a PCI card in a computer. Worst case on this, if you screw it up, it just doesn't work. Simple as that. There's no risk to harming anybody with this or anything. Because I know that's a lot of the comments I get that, oh, you need to be certified to work on this, you need this. And no, this board would in no way harm anybody, directly, indirectly, anything. It is simply a communication board. This isn't an HP motherboard. This is an HP chip on a GE Signa MRI system. Bit 3 board, communication board. A Nell can actually hurt this one because this board does have a CPU on it, so... We'll take care of that with some wick in a second. And the phone is ringing again. I just got called shady by someone on the phone. Oh well. You're not coming in my store and giving me your COVID. I'm sorry. Most people have been fine about it, but this guy said it's shady. Oh well. No COVID for me. You stay outside. I mean, where on earth are you? Almost every single business in the area is doing something similar where you can't come inside. You do not come in here. This one lady the other day kept tugging on the door, and I said, no, you're not coming in here. I'm sorry. But I have MacBook. I understand that, but you're not coming inside. Like, I've had people that think I'm going to steal their computer. It's like, I do not want your piece of junk 2008 MacBook Pro. Please do not accuse me of stealing it. I have like a bunch of those in the back that are taking up space that I just want to trash. And the last thing I want is another one, and I definitely don't want your computer. I definitely don't want to see your data. That's another thing I've had people accuse me of. If you're going to upload my pictures to Facebook. I think the girl that said that to me, I just said, nah, sorry. Yeah, you could go somewhere else. I don't care about what's on your PC. I don't look. I don't want to know. I really could care less. Alright, so it's all done. What I don't understand is, like, people think, like, am I really going to risk my whole life to steal your computer? It's like, no, I'm not. Alright, so here's our new transceiver. We're going to place this on the PCB. I will show you guys. So it's just any kind of, you don't want to force it. I've seen some people that have just taken these things, just like jammed it in there. No, don't do that. We're going to line up the back pins. It should line up fairly easy, and it did. Then our ground pins, and we're in. So simple as that. Just pushes in. We're going to make sure it's flush, and then what we're going to do is just solder it in. That's it. Done. I think I will give this a short ultrasonic. We're going to do like a 60 degrees Celsius ultrasonic, so not hot enough more. Well, we're only going to do it for about 2 minutes. So set 2 minutes, heater, 60 degrees, and that should get up to temp very quick. Hi Greg, how's it going? So we're done. We just need to put that shield back on after the cleaning, and then this is on. We should be good to go. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is gonna. I'm pretty confident that our issue is gonna be here. Like I said, this was kind of reading a little bit funny on diode mode, but I don't really see anything else. The only other thing that I could see that would fail on this would be either the RAM or the processor itself. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. Then we'll go from there. It's possible there's a cracked ball under the processor. I don't really think so, but we're not going to know now until we test it. So we got to test it. I don't want to keep replacing stuff like that. That's not smart. So we're just going to go from here and test it. So we replace the transceiver, the actual part that turns the fiber optic light into electrical signals, and then the chip that decodes all that and makes it into something that the processor and the computer can read. So that's it for right now. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.